In 2018, investment banks, Goldman Sachs, UBS and ING ran thousands of algorithms to arrive at what they thought which country would win the 2018 Football World Cup. All of them got it wrong. I used 5 algorithms to arrive at 2 countries, either France or Argentina, to win the World Cup. In fact, even before a ball was kicked in the tournament, I had predicted this in a leading newspaper in India, and I also published it on YouTube. And you know who won it, right? So now, which team is going to win the 2022 Football World Cup is what we're going to see today. And I'm going to use those same 5 algorithms to arrive at the winner. So, on what basis do we do this? The important thing is that the algorithms are based on astrology. In his book, Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell has said that people who are born in particular months have higher chances of winning, being better sports people. I did 20 years of research in astrology, and I went one step further and I found that players, in fact it's not just about sports people, but it can be business people, it can be film superstars, or it can be politicians. They're all the greats of their field. They're all clubbed together and they are born during particular years. So which brings us to the most important, the first algorithm that I use in astrology, which is certain years are better than the other years. Why? Because the top 3 planets in astrology, which is Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, they are very, very powerful in certain years. In fact, I also use 3 more bodies. I call them as planet X, Y and Z. They are very powerful asteroids, and if they are also strong, then we have some legendary players being born in particular years. In recent times, 1981, 1983, 1986, 1990 to 2000 to 1993. Okay, are those years where the planets were extraordinarily well placed. Iker Casillas, born in 1981, then Philip Lahm, born in 83, and then Hugo Lloris, born in 1986, were those amazing footballers with extraordinary planetary positions who went on to win the World Cup for their countries. Okay, now in this time, how is it going to happen? Now that brings us to the second algorithm that I talk about, and that is karmic quota or a logical progression. So what it means is that we need to see if a particular patch has already exhausted its possibilities of producing a great leader, or is there any possibility. So if I'm going to talk about these 3 years, I would say that 86-87, the patch still has a possibility of producing a great. So probably we can even have a World Cup winning captain being born in this year. And obviously we're also going to look at the 1990 to 1993 patch. So these are the 2 patches that we're going to look at. The great football winning captain would be born only in these 2 patches. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to eliminate all of those football captains who were not born in these particular patches. Okay, now that throws up a lot of countries. Okay, so we are looking at like Denmark and Poland. Okay, may not go on to win the World Cup, and not many are expecting them to do, but some very important countries. Okay, like for example Croatia. Luka Modric took Croatia to the final of the 2018 World Cup, but he will not be able to do that this time. Portugal, I'm very sorry to all Cristiano Ronaldo fans. Cristiano has already won a World Cup, already won a Euro Cup. He has a good chart and he has done that, and he cannot go on to win a World Cup. It's not possible. And Spain, yes, Spain is a pre-tournament favorite, but I'm writing them off. I'm telling that Spain will not be able to win the Football World Cup this time because they have selected the wrong Sergio. Sergio Ramos is born in 86, but then they opted for Sergio Busquets, who's born in 88, and he doesn't have the horoscope to be a great player. So now we have the 1986-87 born captains and we have the 1990, 91, 92, 93 born captains. And now we come to the third algorithm, and the third algorithm is dig deeper into the horoscopes. See, the birth year is important, but the birth date, the date in which a particular captain is born, throws a lot of possibilities. The planetary positions at that point of time, at the day when he's born, would show would he be go on to be a great or not. So we are going to dig deeper into some of the 86 born captains and see if we can eliminate some of them with the not so great horoscopes. So now we are seeing some two important teams here. We're looking at Uruguay and Mexico. Okay, so Diego Gordon and Andro Godado, both of them don't have the chart to become greats. So we also will have to eliminate Uruguay and Mexico. Okay, if I'm going to look at the teams born in the 1990s, we see that there are many countries. I mean, we're looking at Saudi Arabia, we're looking at Iran and Tunisia. So many countries have captains who were born in the 1990s, but we're seeing that their charts are not strong enough. The dates when they're born is not strong enough, so I'm eliminating most of them. And we're also going to zero in on those 1990s born captains who are belonging to some very favorite teams. Do they have it in them to do it? I'm going to talk about those two important teams now. Switzerland and Senegal. Okay, the captains born in dates which I'm saying that not really good enough. So I'll have to eliminate Switzerland and Senegal too. Now we are seeing two more teams, very important two teams, and one of the team is comes in the top 3. They are ranked very high on by FIFA, and another one is also somewhere in the top 10. Okay, I'm talking about Netherlands. Netherlands, Virgil van Dijk has a good horoscope, but it's like he's just missing greatness by a whisker. And if you're talking about Belgium, Eden Hazard does have a good chart, but then again there is one important planet which is very weak in his chart. There is a Jan Vertonghen, who is the vice captain of Belgium. If by any chance, if Eden Hazard is injured and if he's not able to play, and if Jan goes on to take his place, then probably Belgium's chances does get better. But otherwise, if Eden is going to be the captain throughout, then I would say that even Belgium doesn't have a chance to win the World Cup. So finally, we are left with just about 5 teams, okay? And the winner of the 2022 World Cup is going to come from one of these 5 teams. Okay, it is England, Germany, Brazil, Argentina and France. Okay. Now, I'm going to use all the above algorithms and eliminate one more team. And you know what? This team is considered to be a huge favorite, and many experts are betting on this team to win the World Cup. And I'm saying that this team cannot win the World Cup simply because this team's captain has to do something which no other captain in football history has done this before, and he has to win the World Cup, consecutive World Cups. No footballing captain has done this ever before. And even the greatest of greats have not done this. Maradona has not done this. Bobby Moore has not done this. Okay, so even Hugo Lloris won't be able to do that. He's born in 86, and there are other captains born in 86 and 87 in Frey, so there is no chance for Hugo Lloris to repeat his performance. So despite the team being good, in the footballing sense it could be a good team, but in astrologically, because the karmic quota of the captain and the team is also fulfilled, I would say that France has no chance to win the Football World Cup. So we are left with now 4 teams. Okay, which team is going to win? Now, I'm going to talk about this one team, and I need to I don't know how to talk about this, and I'm sure it's going to be a huge heartbreak to millions of fans. Okay, but I will have to break this news. I really did a lot of research on this team. I really love the captain of this team because not because he's one of the greatest footballers in the world, but it's also because he's an ordinary man. He came from nowhere, and despite having, he's small in stature, he's not a, very physical kind of a person, but the magic that he exerts on the field is amazing. And he's like you and me, okay, a common man, went on to do extraordinary things. So that's the reason I have a lot of fondness for him. But I looked into the captain of Argentina, which is Lionel Messi. And now, while we are going to talk about this, the top 4 teams, I'm going to eliminate Argentina. Okay, looking into my 4th algorithm. The 4th algorithm is, we have to look at the horoscopes of the players, that is the defenders, the strikers, and very importantly, the goalkeepers. The goalkeeper of Argentina, the chart is good. I would say it is good. It's not extraordinary, it's good. There are some planets which show that there is weak, and there are some, see, the other 3 countries' goalkeepers have better charts. Okay, it's all about whom you're competing against, isn't it? So they have better horoscopes. And see, if you see the strikers of Argentina, probably the best in the world. Of course, with Messi just being there, and Dybala, and so many other, you have like Marias and whatnot. But one big weakling which I'm seeing in the, this has got nothing to do with football logic. Please understand that whatever I'm talking is from the perspective of astrology. If I'm looking into the team of Argentina, the weakling I see is the defense. So all this Otamendi's and the other players who are in the defense, they don't have the chart strong enough. I think that this is the weakling which is going to give away, and finally, Argentina may lose in one of those crunch matches. And very importantly, I'm going to also talk about the 5th algorithm, the final and the 5th algorithm, and the most important algorithm, and that is, who is the most important man in football? Who is the boss? The boss is the coach. So the 5th algorithm is the horoscope of the coach. And if you look into the horoscope of the coach of Argentina team, that is Lionel Scaloni, see, he has a good enough chart. In fact, he has a good horoscope that, this horoscope actually made him, win 2 major tournaments, international tournaments. He has won a Finalissima, but then very importantly, he has won Copa America, which is a big tournament. And even I had predicted that, in one of the videos. So his chart is good, but the chart is not a great. It doesn't belong to a great. And especially if we're going to talk about those rest of the 3 team coaches, they are like extraordinary. And Scaloni definitely doesn't fall into that great category. Okay. And if I'm also going to look into the chart of Lionel Messi, what you see is that he has a weak 7th house. See, 7th house is the house of leadership. 7th house is the house which indicates you being a world beater. If you're going to win a World Cup, you mean you're beating the world, you're beating everybody in competition. And unfortunately, Leo has a weak 7th house. 7th lord is debilitated, and right now at this point of time while we're talking, he also has the Pluto, the most powerful planet in the universe, that is in a weaker position in his 1st house. And 1st house is the house of personality and doing something on your great in your own terms, and he won't be able to do that because Pluto is going to be weak in his 1st house. So the planets also don't seem to be in sync with the chart of Messi. So I would say that, it really pains my heart to say that Argentina won't be able to win the World Cup. I know many of you would be very upset with this. The only thing I think we can do is probably pray. Okay, so maybe the prayers of millions of Argentina fans can probably, propel Argentina to win the World Cup. He does have individually a very great chart. He's individually a great player. Hope his individually brilliance can win it for Argentina. Even I pray that, despite my prediction that they won't win, but I would pray that Argentina win the World Cup. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the top 3 teams. I'm going to arrange them from the least favorite to the most favorite. So any of these 3 teams can go on to win the World Cup. Okay. So, if any of them win, then it's a victory to astrology. So some people are there, who tell me, why three teams? Why can't you say one team? Okay, now that's exactly where the algorithm plays in. You know what? It's not just the date of birth which is important, but also the time of birth. Unfortunately, we don't have the time. See, understand that the time of birth is the most important thing. And we have the time of birth of Messi, and that's the reason we could eliminate saying that Messi will not be able to win the World Cup. But if we wouldn't have had his time of birth, then you would have probably included him in the top four and said that probably he also has a chance. But we know his horoscope, so we are able to eliminate. So the top three, we don't have exact birth details of two captains, so we just have to guess. So one of the three teams can win. So let me start with the third team. The third team which has the possibility of winning the World Cup. Now, this team is Brazil. Okay. Now, this team has a very, it's very annoying actually that the team's coach Tite has a policy of rotating the captains. Okay, which doesn't really augur well with the planets. The planets may be confused. Who's the captain? Okay. So it all depends on who is going to be the captain on the final day. Okay, and okay, let's look at the team composition. The coach, first of all. Let's start with Tite. Tite has got extraordinary horoscope. I mean, the horoscope is fantabulous. He's born in 61 and he has so many planets in exaltation. He's a grey lizard, and grey lizards, many people don't understand exactly what grey lizard is all about, but the grey lizard is extremely powerful for sports and he can do that. So that is one thing. And so coach is great. And if you look at the team composition, if you're looking at the goalkeepers, they have two goalkeepers. Any one of them play, it's going to be great. You look at the defense, or you look at the offense, strikers, it's all wow. Astrologically, it is a fabulous team. But my question is, who will be the captain? If it's going to be Thiago Silva, okay, let's say that Brazil is in the final, there is any other team, and Thiago Silva is going to be the captain of Brazil, I would say that Brazil will not win the World Cup. Okay, Thiago Silva doesn't have it in him to lift the World Cup. Okay, let's talk about Casemiro. No, not at all, because Casemiro was born in 92 and he has a very good horoscope, but then his horoscope is not better than Harry Kane. So Harry Kane has a better horoscope, so which means Casemiro will not win. What about Neymar? Neymar, once again, has a very good horoscope, but then he also has a weak 7th house, just like Messi. So the chances to win looking slimmer. So we don't know on the final day who's going to be the captain. There is one player, if at all Brazil, Tite, if he sort of selects him as the captain, that is Ederson, the goalkeeper. If Ederson becomes the captain on the final day, then probably, he's 93 born, and probably the chances for Brazil to win the World Cup is really bright. So we really don't know what's going to be the composition and who will be the captain. And so that's the reason I'm putting them on the third place. Now let's look at the team which is in number 2. The team which has got a fabulous chance, fantastic chance to win the 2018 Football World Cup is, and probably the World Cup is going home. Okay, and that is England. Harry Kane probably has one of the best horoscopes amongst all the captains going around at this point of time. He's a 1993 born. He is going to win England a major tournament. It's now, or it's going to be sometime soon. If not this World Cup, then he'll win the Euro Cup. If not the Euro Cup, then he'll win the next World Cup. You never know. He's going to be a competitor. He's going to be in contention every time in the next 4 years. So it could be his chance this time. He can even win then both the tournament. He has that powerful horoscope. And if you look at the coach, Gareth Southgate, wow, he has got an extraordinary chart. So Gareth Southgate, Harry Kane, and if you look at the entire England team, it's amazing. I would say that finally, after so many years, probably the World Cup can go home. And now I'm going to come to this last team the last team which I feel has got the greatest chance to win the World Cup. And they say that, many teams play football, and then finally the team that wins is Germany. Okay, and maybe this time that could be the case. Okay, if you look at all the algorithms, they strike off all of them very, very easily. Now look at the captain. Oh my goodness, Manuel Neuer. He's born in 86 and probably he has the best chart amongst all the captains playing at this point of time. Some people will point out and say, oh, but Manuel Neuer has already won a World Cup. Yes, he has won a World Cup, but he was not the captain then. Yeah. So he has the chart of a great. Now look at the coach. The coach Hansi Flick. He was born in 1965 and he has a planet which is exactly similar to a Shah Rukh Khan. So Hansi Flick has got a horoscope which is so powerful. A 1965 born coach and a 1986 born captain. That is like a dream come true. And if you look at, so the goalkeeper is a captain and the goalkeeper has got a fabulous chart. Plus if you look at the entire team, the defense is so solid. If you're saying that the Timo Werner is out of the tournament, they don't have a striker, there are so many things that people will talk about, it doesn't matter. Everything will fall in place and Germany can go on to win the World Cup. Okay, so the finally I would say that the World Cup winner would come from any of the three teams, and I would largely say it could be coming from either England or Germany. Brazil, as I said, there are some ifs and buts. Okay, so let's see. Okay, and I would love to hear from you as to who do you think, are your possible winners. Of course, not as using astrologically, but using your own footballing logic. You can just tell me, you can write there as to who will win. And I stand by what I feel are the winners. Of course, there can also be some changes which can be possible because, it's a long tournament and injury is a part of the game. So if any of the captains get injured, and especially those teams which I talked about, are winning potential they have, and then obviously the chances then change. Okay, Jan Vertonghen coming in place of Eden Hazard can change the game, or there are so many other possibilities. Captain change, the whole tournament opens up. Okay, so you keep a watch on all of those things also. Okay, all right. So we will be keeping. I will be predicting so many such interesting events across the world globe. So please do subscribe to my channel so that you will be the first person to know whenever I upload a video.